Welcome back to Jackson Square. Today we will be continuing chapter 4 and we're going to be looking at coordinate grids. Our TEK is 6.11a, which says I can graph points in all four quadrants using ordered pairs of rational numbers. You guys have seen coordinate planes before, but you've mostly focused on quadrant 1. We're going to learn about quadrant 2, 3, and 4 and how to plot points, locate them in these quadrants. So the first thing we need to know are the quadrants are labeled or numbered in a counterclockwise direction. That means the opposite of clockwise, where a clock normally goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We would be going 3, 2, 1, 12, that way. So counterclockwise, follow this green arrow. It's showing you that the direction that they're being numbered. The first thing we want to know is, or the first thing we want to label is the horizontal axis, which is called our x-axis. This is your x-axis. It goes from left to right. Our x-axis goes from left to right. And then our vertical axis that goes up and down is called our y-axis. So please label those in your notebooks now. The horizontal that goes left to right is x, and the vertical that goes up and down is our y. The place where they meet is called the origin. The origin, this is the origin where they meet, okay? So the origin is, and I'm gonna just rotate this so you guys know that the arrow is pointing. So the origin is 0x coordinate and 0y coordinate. They meet right here at this point. That is the origin, 0x and 0y, okay? So the origin is 0x and 0y. And actually, while I'm here, I'm going to just make a little change to this because I don't think that part exists to your notebook. So when you get it, it will already be there. There we go. All right, so the origin is 0x coordinate and 0y. So now let's jump right into labeling and naming our coordinates. So we're going to start with quadrant 1. Quadrant 1 is here. And I'm going to move this down. There we go. So this is quadrant 1. Quadrant 1 has a positive x value, as you can see here, and a positive y. So this goes there. Quadrant 1 has a positive x and a positive y. After quadrant 1, in a counterclockwise direction, we have quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 has a negative x value and a positive y. Negative x and a positive y. So this is quadrant 2. And I'm going to take a second and zoom in so you guys can see that. And you can get this in your notebook. Remember, you are following along. This is an interactive notebook, so you have to interact with it. Again, quadrant 1 has a positive x value and a positive y. Quadrant 2 has a negative x value, see our x-axis, and a positive y. Underneath quadrant 2, of course, would be quadrant 3 here, and then this would be quadrant 4. Quadrant 3 has a negative x and a negative y. So we're going to grab that piece, a negative x and a negative y. So quadrant 3 would look like this. The x would be negative and the y would be negative. Quadrant 4 would have a positive x and a negative y. So go ahead and jot down those notes if you don't have them. And let me take a second to find my notes in my notebook to make sure I've given you everything you need. Okay, looks like it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So again, let's go over our quadrants really quickly. We have 4 of them. They move in a counterclockwise direction, as you can see me going this way, counterclockwise. Hopefully I'm not highlighting anything. Counterclockwise direction. The horizontal line is our x, the vertical line is our y-axis. We have the origin, which is 0x0y, where the two axes meet. That's the origin, 0x0y. Quadrant 1 has a positive x and a positive y. Quadrant 2 has a negative x and a positive y. Quadrant 3 has a negative x and a negative y. Quadrant 4 has a positive x and a negative y. So those are our 4 quadrants. We want to also talk about the ordered pair. So in an ordered pair, we have first number is always your x coordinate that comes from your x-axis, and your second number is your y coordinate. It comes from your y-axis. Here you'll see I have a little arrow showing that this is your x, it goes left to right, and your y goes up to down. And here's just how it always looks. X comma y, x comma y. X comes before y. Think about your alphabet. X, Y, Z, same thing. X, Y. Okay, so X and then Y. X is your left to right, and then Y is your up and down. So let's go through some vocabulary, because vocabulary is extremely important in this unit. The blank corresponds to a number on the x-axis. The blank corresponds to a number on the x-axis. Well, I just told you that one. The blank that corresponds is called the x-coordinate. The x-coordinate corresponds to a number on the x-axis. The horizontal number line is called the, yes, it's called the y, yes. No, it's called the x. Yeah, it's called the x. The x-axis is the horizontal. The point where the number lines intersect is called the, where's it called? The origin. Yes, we've already talked about this. The point where they meet or intersect is the origin. So make sure you're following along and putting these in your notebook as well. Oops. Get back to it. All right. Grab those and drop them. Drag and drop them in. And blank, x comma y, is a pair of numbers used to locate a point in a coordinate plane. How do we locate numbers in a coordinate plane? Or points in a coordinate plane? Ordered pair. Remember we just talked about an ordered pair has an x comma y. Ordered pair. The vertical number line is called the, yes, the y axis. The blank corresponds to a number on the y-axis. What is that called? The x, the y coordinate. Too many x's and y's. The y coordinate corresponds to something on the y-axis. And why is that line so small for me? I don't know. I'm going to switch them up. They'll be corrected by the time you see this page. The 4 regions on the coordinate plane are called quadrants. That's the last thing we have left. They are called quadrants. So again, vocabulary is very important. We need to know what the x-coordinate is, what the x-axis is, where the origin is. We need to know what an ordered pair is, what the vertical number line is called, the y-axis, what a y-coordinate means, and what are quadrants. Hope that this was informative and good luck.